No matter who you are, it's important that you have someone that can show you the ropes, that can give you guidance, a coach or a trainer. In this episode today, I'm going to lay out to you 4 benefits of having a sales trainer that can help you to elevate your game and help your team to reach higher numbers than ever before. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about the benefits of having a sales trainer. Now, I know what you're saying, that Donald, how are you going to tell me the benefit of having a sales trainer when you're a sales trainer? Because, bro, I'm telling you, sis, I have been in your shoe. I know exactly what it is. And as a sales leader, I know some of the challenges and difficulties you're facing, everything that's on your plate, and how challenging that can be to be able to effectively help coach and guide and mentor your sales team. If this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching one of our videos, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. This podcast is designed for 2 main purposes. 1, help you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline, and 2, help you to close twice as many deals as you're closing right now. We promise you that. Whether it's our free content or our paid content, like our LinkedIn prospecting course, or working with our team for coaching or consultings, we can help you with that. Now, today, as I dive into this, I'm going to focus on 4 main benefits that I've seen from not only an individual contributor, but as a sales rep and as a sales leader. Now, I'm going to break this thing down and give you some ideas based on my 3 levels of experience. 1, as an individual contributor. 2, as a business owner trying to sell and manage my own team. And 3, as an individual going into organizations and working with sales teams. Now, the 4 things I want to highlight and share with you. 1, sales training bring new ideas. A great trainer is going to bring you some new ideas, things that you don't necessarily know, some fresh concepts. 2, it's going to improve your process, your sales process over time. Sometimes it gets to the point where we do the same thing over and over. But is that the most effective thing? Having the right sales trainer can give you some guidance on how you can fix that. And I'll go into that in a little bit. Number 3, time. As a leader, it's just impossible to do all that you need to do. The meetings, the reports, the management of your team, management of pipelines, and making sure everything runs properly. It's overwhelming, and you don't have enough time in a day to get it all done. And then number 4, sales trainers with a proven track record can help you to generate an ROI. And I'll go into that in a second. But let's go to the first one. I want to paint a picture for you. As a new sales rep, I worked for a company, and I was fortunate that they put me through training. The issue that I had before was I worked for 2 other smaller companies. These were great individuals that I got a chance to work with. The problem was the companies did not have a proven sales process. They relied on individuals to just sell based on their skills, based on their gift of gab or their creativity. But without a proven process, all of those characteristics, though they could be beneficial, was not yielding the results that the organizations need. I remember going into networking events and doing all kinds of outreach activities, sales activities that I thought was fruitful and meaningful because I thought they were creative, but they weren't yielding or bringing me in contact with the ideal customers. I had no clue. One of the companies I worked for, they actually folded. Their doors closed, and I remember they sent us away and said, unfortunately, put us all in the conference room. We're shutting things down. I did get a chance to leave with an iPad, though, so that was pretty cool from that one. But I started working with another organization, and they're the one that had this amazing sales process. They had onboarding processes. They had guidance that they helped me with. But not only did they have their own process, they recognized their own limitations, and they decided to invest with an outside sales training company. That investment, and I talk about this on my website, was probably about $7,000. That $7,000 within a matter of 3 months turned into $30,000 in my first deal that closed for them. So you don't tell me that didn't work. The great thing about that is that I didn't have to guess anymore. I knew exactly what to do. I knew the process. Now, not everyone is going to be a great seller. You have to have a desire. You have to have some kind of why or motivation. You hear me talk about that a lot, but if you can have that, you can learn as much of the processes as you can, and you'll be able to truly perform amazingly. But let's go into the first point. Sales training bring new ideas. When I worked at a company that put me through sales training, that $7,000 investment, I started to get a flood of new ideas. The reason why this works so well, because these sales trainers, they're not just individuals that are just a lump on a log. These individuals are doing what they're doing because they're high caliber. And we'll talk about that when it comes to ROI. But this particular organization that I was working with was very notorious for being effective. The sales process was simple that they taught me. And the cool thing was, these trainers weren't just working with my company, they were working with multiple other organizations and individuals, which lend them the opportunity to be able to reap ideas and insights, what's working in other companies with other brands that was most effective. By taking those ideas and utilizing them in our own organization, we started to see a flurry of activities. People were inspired. People were motivated. The fresh new ideas allowed us to get not only inspired and motivated, but it also gave us the confidence we needed to go out and try these new ideas. It is important when you work with an effective sales trainer that they bring you these new ideas. Now, I'm not talking about working with somebody who did this stuff back in 1980 and they're going to tell you the same old things that you shouldn't do emails and you should go knock on doors. Like, maybe in certain industries, knocking on a door is cool. I did that in door-to-door security sales. However, when you're selling complex software solutions, good luck trying to go to an office plaza and park and trying to get connected with decision makers or key stakeholders. Majority of people are working remote. You need someone that's not living in ancient times, but someone who's on the front lines of the latest and greatest ideas that's working right now. How to utilize digital, how to utilize AI, how to utilize simple solutions or tools that can help you to maximize your sales team's outreach and performance. You need trainers that have cool concepts. Now, one thing you can do is find trainers that have content like this on social. And this is a great way you can test them prior to you even sitting down or setting up a discovery call with them. So the first thing is that a great sales trainer bringing unique and new ideas. Number two, improve processes. This piggybacks to the one that I just mentioned. Whether you're a seasoned sales veteran or you're brand new to sales, having a process that works is important. Sometimes, and especially in our case before, I've worked in companies where the process was set in stone. This is the way we've done it for years, and no one thought to improve on that. Now, if you went to your financial advisor and they tell you, yeah, we're using the same concepts that we used back in 1930, you're probably not going to stick with that person. If you go to a doctor and you ask that doctor, how are you doing the surgery? And they said, well, I'm just using the way that I learned it back in 1952. You're probably not going to stick with that doctor. So why in the world do we stick with sales processes that are outdated or things that's been around for a while? When it comes to sales, though the fundamentals of the concept will not change, the way you go about doing that process may evolve. So for instance, sometimes we find individuals that are sending out mass emails to prospects, utilizing tools in their CRM and sending it out to thousands. Well, that could work to some degree. But what we have seen time and time again with the latest and greatest is that we should tweak our process to include a level of personalization, not only personalization to the fact where somebody's dog or cat or that they love the Dolphins. You want to look at personalization towards that individual role. Now, if you're sending out emails and you're sending out implement strategies from 1990 based on that concept of spray and pray and blast, you're probably going to have a difficult time succeeding in the modern era. You got to make sure your processes have evolved and it's utilized in the things that's going to be effective. Another strategy that we've seen that's helped, especially teams and also internally, is to give your prospects an opportunity to get an early stage demo. About 50% of the buyers that are making decisions on the software or services you offer are millennials. Now think about a millennial. That's me. We have been in the digital space for quite some time. I remember buying my first shoe online off American Eagle. Go American Eagle. I don't know if they're around anymore. Maybe they are. But the thing was, I'm used to and I'm comfortable making purchases and doing it independently. So if your sales process requires me to jump through 10 hoops and to meet with individuals at early stage, I probably won't necessarily want that. But if you give me an opportunity to maybe bypass the first quarter of your process where I can do self-education or find information on your website or your YouTube channel, I will then tap you in when I am ready. So accommodate your sales process to people's needs and buyers' preferences. This is something that you need to realize. So as a sales trainer, that's something that I've learned not only from myself, but from interviewing having thousands of podcast episodes and interviewing hundreds of sales experts and trainers and consultants, as well as sales leaders. That type of information is gold, and you don't have to pay a McKinsey expert, a consultant to come in and to fix that. Simple things you can get from having a sales trainer. Now, if you can do some of these tweaks and effectively adjust your sales process, imagine how much more yield you can get from that sales process. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you overhaul the whole thing, but just finding tweaks. And a great sales trainer can point some of those things out and give you the tweaks and information that you need. I have an example with one of our clients. Her name was Veronica, and you could find some information on the web for us and Veronica. But Veronica, I remember visiting with her and her team, and she specifically was trying to get help with closing deals. She was sending out the proposals, and she had a great process. The issue that she had was just they're sending out a lot of proposals without a lot of them closing. I was able to look at what she was doing, and within a few minutes was able to give her a suggestion that adjusted her sales process. That simple adjustment was a proposal review. Once she installed that proposal review, she was able to close one of the largest deals for her organization. After that meeting, I left with her. Now, this worked, again, because it wasn't my first rodeo. I'd seen that before, and a great sales trainer can see and understand and point out things to you that you may be blind to because you are in the business and in that process. Number 3, time from leaders. As a sales rep, I had an amazing sales leader, a wonderful individual, great organization that I was working with, received awesome training. I was receiving one-on-one coaching and guidance with her. But something interesting started happening. She was a selling leader as well, so she sold some large deals, which was great for the organization. But one thing that started to happen because her plate got so filled, she stopped doing our one-on-ones with us individually. Now, I'm not a slacker. I wasn't sitting around counting flies or just like wasting my time. The issue was, though, I did not get that constant guidance, that coaching, that mentorship that I needed. And over time, though my numbers didn't drop drastically, they did drop simply because we cut out that accountability and that one-on-one to get the insights. As a sales leader, I know you feel the same way. You're like, man, I want to spend more time. I want to give some time to my team that's my reps that are progressing, how can to get them to perform at a higher level. Some of my reps that are underperforming, how can I inspire them and motivate them? And some of my top performers who still need guidance. And you're feeling challenged with that. But a great sales trainer not only can take those individuals on and coach and inspire them, they can guide them in ways that you may not necessarily have the time to be able to do. This is one of the simplest things that I've seen help. When I work with sales teams and I work with their sales leaders, this is one that comes up often because they really would like to do it, but they just don't have the bandwidth to do it. The way that a great sales trainer can work with you on that, they listen to your team, do an assessment to understand where each individual is, and to create an individual sales coaching plan that help those individuals to maximize their performance to the best of their ability. Imagine if you had that for your organization and for your team. Imagine if your sales enablement department could utilize an outside source to be able to free up some of the time for internal individuals. This could help catapult your sales team and your sales org to a whole nother stratosphere. There's a great benefit of having a sales trainer who can do that for you. Number 4 is the proven track record. I started alluding to this earlier, and I gave some examples of our proven track record as a sales training organization, specifically individuals that we've worked with. But when you find a sales trainer, one with a proven track record, they can help you generate ROI, plain and simple. Sometimes you might find people who say, I cannot give you a guaranteed ROI, and I get that. However, they should have examples of how they've helped people. And if they've helped those individuals and they serve individuals similar to you, you can make an educated decision that you could see similar yield as well as a natural byproduct of working with that organization, that firm, or that individual. So figure that out. One of the things that I like to do is to go back to client case studies. Companies that I've worked with, that have seen, that have similar processes and similar challenges are able to break down that challenge. We're able to document that information, and we're able to utilize that with our prospects at the right stage of the sales process. We don't give this out everywhere, but when the time is right, when people are looking to that evaluation, when they're looking to compare something, we're able to provide them those case studies. Those case studies help them to mitigate the risk, the idea that we're not going to take their money and run, or that we're not just going to give them oh-hum strategies, but things that are proven. And the biggest benefit of all, find a sales trainer that's actually selling. Straight up, I mean it. Think about that. Do you want to work with a sales trainer that hasn't sold anything since 1999? That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Yes, they may have a lot of knowledge. Yes, they may have a lot of book experience and a lot of strategies, but do they have what it takes to actually pick up a phone, make a call, I love doing that with sales team. One of the organizations we were working with, they didn't believe me that I make phone calls. I try to budget anywhere from 1 to 2 hour prospecting per day. This is something that we built in and it's non-negotiable. This allows for me to be able to keep fresh on ideas and concept, but I'm the best salesperson for my organization. I'm Donald freaking Kelly, right? So with that, this allows me, when I go to a team and I tell them that they need to prospect and they need to do these things on a day-to-day basis, they can't tell me that they don't have time. I'm training individuals. I'm working internally with my team. I'm creating content. I'm traveling. I'm speaking across the globe. But with that, I still take time, whether it's at least a little bit of LinkedIn time or actual calling and sending emails, to be able to reach out to people, to be able to land appointments for myself. Now, granted, my team do a lot more of the business development activities, but it allows me to be able to do that. This team that I was working with, I was able to turn on the phone, we were doing remote training. I was able to turn on share my audio, was able to take one of their leads and was able to make a phone call and was able to start a conversation with an individual, was able to get information that they said they never had gotten before, to help this individual rep that had this lead to be able to work with that prospect and eventually get an appointment. It's magical what can happen when you actually do what you say you do. This was a powerful example and a powerful strategy. Get a sales trainer that has a proven track record. Proven track records can help you to determine their effectiveness. Now, when it's all said and done, not one sales trainer is going to be perfect. There are many different organizations that you can work with over the course of your team's life or your business career. What I would say to you, though, is, again, follow these 4 things. These 4 benefits can definitely help you. And if you fall into that category, I'd love for my team and I to have a conversation with you. I wouldn't be a good seller if I didn't have some kind of call to action for that. You can go to thesalesevangelist.com and schedule a time to speak with one of our reps. You know what? I may even be one of those individuals you schedule a time with, because I am in the round robin as well for that. I need to make sure that I'm practicing what I'm doing. And that's one of the greatest ways that I can do, is to be on calls and to sell. I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What have you seen? What are some of the benefits you've seen of a sales trainer? Or perhaps maybe you have some questions around that. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly, or Instagram, Donald C. Kelly, or on TikTok, Donald C. Kelly. I'd love to hear from you. We have a lot of information in our show notes. Our sponsors have some amazing tools and offerings that I utilize as well when I'm prospecting, and hopefully you can benefit from those as well. Listen, my goal is simple with this podcast: help you to generate 3 to 5x more deals in your pipeline, and 2, help you to close twice as many deals as you're closing right now. Whether it's our free content, our paid courses, such as our LinkedIn prospecting course or our sales business development course, we want to help you. As always, I want you to raise your level of thinking. I want you to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching.